The owl who spoke names at midnight then vanished. They say owls are messengers. Some cultures call them omens, others believe they carry the souls of the dead. But in the village of Darnlow, nestled deep in a forgotten English forest, the owl didn't just watch, it spoke. And when it did, someone always died. I was 10 when I heard it first. The clock had just struck midnight. Our old farmhouse creaked with the weight of silence. Moonlight poured through the thin curtains, painting silver shadows on the wooden floor. That's when I heard it clear and chilling, from the black woods beyond the window. Aubrey. My name. It wasn't a hoot. It wasn't a whisper. It was a perfectly spoken word in a voice neither human nor bird. My breath hitched. I pressed my face against the cold glass. There, perched on the skeletal branch of an elm tree, was the owl, its feathers ghost white, eyes like burning coals. It didn't blink. It didn't move. The next morning my mother was gone. They said she'd wandered off in her sleep, something about her recent grief, the strain of Dad's passing. But I remembered what I'd heard. That owl had spoken my name, not hers. That was the beginning. Over the years, people left Darnlow. The forest crept closer. Trees strangled fences. Ivy swallowed rooftops. But the owl stayed. And so did I. Everyone who stayed heard it eventually. At first they laughed. Until the names it called belonged to those found lifeless the next morning, cold, wide-eyed, untouched by injury, but stiff with terror. They called it the tolling owl, like some spectral bell ringing death. Last week it spoke again. Isaac. My brother. He never believed me, never listened. The next day he was gone. Vanished from his locked room with the window still latched. No signs of struggle. No tracks. Just a single white feather on his pillow. Now, I'm the last. Last of the Renleys. Last in Darnlow. And tonight the owl returns. Its voice cuts through the silence like a scalpel. But this time it doesn't call my name. It calls yours. After Isaac disappeared, Darnlow changed again. Doors that were once left ajar slammed shut at dusk. Curtains never parted. No one walked their dogs after dark, not even the brave ones with rifles or crosses nailed above their doors. The few who remained looked over their shoulders constantly, whispering prayers they barely remembered. They knew the owl might speak again. And it always came when the moon was full, floating like a pale wound in the sky. Like tonight. I sit in the attic now, hunched beneath the slanted roof, surrounded by dust-covered books and our grandfather's hunting gear. I haven't slept in 3 days. Every night, I keep watch through the slit in the timber wall, facing the tree. The one it always perches on. My notebook trembles in my lap, filled with sketches of the owl. Over the years, I've drawn its eyes 1,000 times. Not just red, but glowing like coals still burning with anger. Each drawing grows sharper, closer to what it really looks like. Each feather darker. Its wingspan too wide. Too wrong. They say it first appeared during the famine, 2 centuries ago, when a desperate priest offered names to the forest in exchange for survival. A name for a harvest. A name for rain. The owl came to collect. But the forest never forgets a bargain. They buried the priest in the woods, chopped down the altar tree, salted the soil. But the owl kept coming. Slowly. Patiently. Feeding on the names whispered at midnight. Last year, a local historian named Grace tried to destroy its nesting tree. The next morning, we found her on the chapel steps. Her mouth was open in a scream that had never stopped. Her eyes bled black. There were no marks on her body. Only a ring of tiny white feathers circling her like a halo. The owl doesn't kill out of hunger. It kills for memory. For tribute. Tonight it hasn't spoken yet. But I see its silhouette now perched watching still. It always waits until the world is silent. Until not even the crickets dare to sing. And then it says a name. You don't hear it with your ears. You hear it in your bones. It happened last night. I was in the attic again, the journal on my knees, a half-burnt candle flickering beside me. The village was hushed beneath the swollen moon, no dogs barking, no wind. Only the long, drawn-out silence that feels like holding your breath in the dark. Then I heard it. Not a hoot, not a screech. Just a soft shift of branches. A thump, feathers brushing bark. And then the voice. Not human. Not animal. Something between echo and memory. Something wrong. It said Caleb. My brother's name. I froze. The candle flickered violently. Below me, I heard movement in the house, slow, dragging footsteps like someone walking in a dream. I crept to the attic stairs and peeked through the slats. Caleb was sleepwalking. Eyes closed, face blank, barefoot. His fingers dragged along the wallpaper as he moved toward the front door, toward the forest. I called to him softly at first. Then louder. He didn't respond. He opened the door without hesitation. I ran. The night hit me like cold water. The air felt strange. Not just quiet, empty, like something had sucked the life out of it. Caleb moved ahead of me into the tree, lean, barefoot on dead leaves, oblivious to the thorns tearing his legs. And then I saw it. The owl. Huge. Perched on a branch just above him, tilting its head like a question. Its eyes were red lanterns in the dark. They looked at Caleb. Then at me. And it smiled. Not with a beak. With a sound. A strange, curling hiss that filled the air like laughter, but far too low, too deep. I screamed his name, grabbed his arm, yanked him back. He didn't wake. The owl stretched its wings wide, unfolding like smoke, and launched silently into the night. Caleb collapsed. He lay there, breathing, but something was wrong. His eyes fluttered open, but they weren't his. They were too dark. Like there was something inside watching me. We walked home together in silence. I never told him what I saw. But I know he heard the name. I know it lives inside him now. And the worst part? Tonight is another full moon. And I think the owl will speak again. But this time, I think it's my name. The morning after Caleb's sleepwalking, things started fading. First it was small. Our neighbor's dog gone. No one mentioned it. Not even Mrs. Green, who treated it like a child. Then it was the old librarian, Mr. Wells. His house stood dark and silent, windows thick with dust. But when I asked around, people looked at me like I'd made him up. Even Caleb didn't remember him. I went back to the attic, flipping frantically through the journal. One entry caught my eye, written in a shaking hand. The owl speaks the forgotten. Those who hear their name do not vanish, they are rewritten. Their stories rot like wet wood, their memories devoured feather by feather. That night, I didn't sleep. At midnight, I sat by the window with every light off, watching the forest edge. The silence was too clean, no crickets, no wind. Just stillness. Then, a branch creaked. The moonlight dimmed. And the owl came back. Its wings didn't move with air, they pulsed through it. It perched on the dead oak tree across the yard, eyes glowing with cold hunger. And it spoke. Not one name. 3. Elias. The May. Jonah. I felt each name like a chill down my spine, names I knew. Faces I remembered. But when I opened my yearbook the next day, they weren't there. Not even blank spots. Just gone, as if they never existed. Like the memory had been overwritten with static. Even Caleb tilted his head in confusion when I mentioned them, like he couldn't grasp the words. Whatever the owl was, it didn't just name people. It erased them from the world. Or worse, rewrote them into something else. That night, I heard Caleb whispering in his sleep. Not in English. In something wrong. A language like the rustling of wings and the cracking of bones. His body twitched with every phrase. And behind his voice, I heard another. The owl. Speaking through him. That's when I realized Caleb hadn't just heard his name. He was becoming part of the owl. And I might be next. Because tonight, the moon is full again. And I don't know if I'll still be me by morning. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at the foot of Caleb's bed, a kitchen knife in my lap, though I didn't know who I meant to protect, him or me. His skin was pale and waxy, twitching with something alive underneath. Every so often, his mouth would move silently, mimicking that broken, rustling language. The forest outside was dead quiet again. I knew it was coming. Midnight struck. The owl did not perch this time. It landed in the hallway outside Caleb's door with a heavy thud. No wing beats. Just the scrape of claw against wood. The light bulb above it flickered, then burst. In the darkness, its glowing eyes blinked once, twice. And it spoke. Galena. My name. I dropped the knife. The sound of it, my name spoken by that thing, it pulled something from me. Not a memory, but my weight. My presence. I felt myself fading from the room, like I was sliding out of my own skin. I screamed. I screamed Caleb's name. And he opened his eyes. Only they weren't his. They were wide, pitch black, bottomless. The owl's eyes. And his mouth twisted into an unnatural grin. You were never meant to hear your own name, it said through him. But you listened. I stumbled backward, heart thundering. All the stories, the people gone, the missing names in the yearbook, they weren't erased. They were inside it. Bound in feathers and shadows and silence. Swallowed whole. Take me, I whispered. I'll let Caleb go. It laughed. A soft, cracking sound like twigs snapping. You already belong to me. And then Caleb blinked. His body convulsed. He screamed and fell to the floor, convulsing. The owl shrieked, furious as if expelled. It had been living in him. And now it was loose. The hallway window shattered as it burst into the night, wings wide, talons clawing at the air. It vanished into the black sky. We never saw it again. Caleb never remembered any of it. The names, the owl, the forest. His eyes were brown again. Human. But I know the truth. I still hear it sometimes. That voice, just outside the window. Whispering names. I keep the lights on. I stay awake. Because I know the truth now. If the owl speaks your name at midnight, it never forgets it.